Well, happy 2025, everyone. Can you even believe that we are starting our third year of the Got It From My Momma podcast? I am blown away by your support and just so glad that you're here for today's brand new episode. I mean, how do you even sum up a career like Ryan Seacrest? I love his story of dreaming big, working hard, and achieving some pretty incredible goals. We've got double the entertainment for you today. We got to sit down with both Ryan's mom and his sister Meredith. She heads up the Ryan Seacrest Foundation, and it's truly a family affair. This is a family of go-getters, and let me tell you, do-gooders. I loved meeting them, and I think that you will as well. Let's jump in, everybody. There's so much I love about this Seacrest story, and getting, of course, to watch Ryan's evolution from, having his own radio show to now, my goodness, just 2 months ago, he took over Wheel of Fortune, which is crazy. I think about growing up watching that, with my grandmother initially, and then just becoming a fan myself. But to get to talk to you guys is such a treat. Both of you, I know, have played a pivotal role, and I can't wait to hear the childhood stories. And then what I want to start with, though, is the most, I would say, meaningful part of Ryan Seacrest's career is getting to start the foundation. And it is truly a family affair, isn't it?
It definitely is. I'm really big on family dinners.
Yeah.
And we were at a family dinner, and Ryan said, I'd like to start a foundation. I want to see something that's tangible. I don't want to write a check. And so we talked about it, and he said he had been with his radio station to a children's hospital, and it was so meaningful. And he said, Dad's an attorney. He said, Dad, can you start a foundation? And my husband said, well, I have never done that, but I can do that. Yeah. So that was the beginning, and now it's just amazing. We're 14, about to be 16.
Wow. And these are media centers that are in children's hospitals. And so that night when you're having this conversation around the family dinner table, did you conceptualize what this could be, what this tangible thing would be?
We did not know what we were doing.
I think Ryan, talking about bringing his radio show to the hospital, they had special guests, and he saw the impact it made where kids were getting out of bed and motivated. It created a fun energy in the hospital. So it stuck with him, thinking, what could I create and put in the hospital that could be their daily? I can't broadcast every day, but maybe could I put something in there that could be a broadcast studio kids could use and be the star. So it evolved into what we now call Seacrest Studios, and it's a state-of-the-art multimedia studio.
And it's so rewarding. The moms come up to me and they say, please tell Ryan how much this means to my child.
That's
my
precious.
Child now wants to get dressed and go to the studio and play games and broadcast and be on the mic. So that is so I almost have tears every time I visit a studio.
Oh, I can only imagine. And I was thinking about that part of it this morning, and, my privilege of getting to talk to you guys. But I thought about the gift that you are giving mothers, because you see the anguish and the worry and the anxiety on their faces when they have a sick child. And so what you're providing is a distraction, basically, in a super positive way for these families to get to experience. And like you said, sometimes it's hard just even for the kids to get out of bed. And now they're like, let's go down to the studio and enjoy it, right? So the very first center was where?
Atlanta.
Okay, that was the first one. And you guys have been doing it so long now that you just revamped and opened a brand new studio, right?
Absolutely. One of the biggest and best.
Wow, that is so awesome. So I've been able to visit the Nashville one, and it really, when we talk about state of the art, these are nice. Like, as someone in broadcasting, I'm like, well, I would love to broadcast
I know. Ryan always says, Mom, these are better than any radio broadcast I've had.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all have seen some of the dumpy little rooms that he sat in and done, radio shows in and everything. So Meredith, you run the foundation. You are such a pivotal part of this, but I want to hear about, this was a real pivot for you. You were also in entertainment. You were working out on the West Coast as well. Tell me a little bit about your background. And then I guess it was probably a pretty big decision to say, okay, I'll move back this direction and help you with this?
Yes. So at the time, Ryan and I both lived in LA. I moved out after college, went to University of Georgia.
Was he already there?
He was already there.
Okay, because let's go back to what the age difference is.
6 years.
6 years. Okay, so this is your big brother.
Big brother. So I had been visiting and decided to apply for jobs and ended up getting a job and moved out to LA at Entertainment Tonight. So I worked in PR and for there. Then I later on got in more to production. And so I was working in a production company, working on TV shows, things like that. And when the idea of the foundation started, I was helping out with just behind the scenes, still had my day job. And then Ryan was like, would you leave your job and run this? And I thought, if there's one area to work in together as siblings is giving back and doing, anything you can do to help others. And I thought this is the lane that we can work together. Would I want to, work for him and have him be my boss in a production company or something? No. But this I thought was a way that we really could do good together.
Yeah.
And so, I left my job and we started it and hoped for the best. And now it's been almost 15 years.
Wow. So when you first started it, did you move to Atlanta to get it going?
I did not. I stayed in LA. And then we opened Atlanta, then we opened in Philly and Dallas, and then it started to just grow. So I just would travel. But later I ended up moving to Nashville after I got married.
Oh,
and
amazing. Did your husband's job kind of help you decide? Because you could probably lived in any of the cities and ran the foundation, but is there another reason for Nashville?
Yeah, we were working on the Nashville studio, Vanderbilt Children's, and because of that project, I was being brought to Nashville a lot, and we just fell in love with the city, and it was the perfect time of starting a family, and thought, we had a fun time in LA, and let's go to Nashville.
A little slower pace, but
Yes.
still really fun, and not too far from your mama.
Exactly. So I got closer to Mom, which was
So
fantastic.
you love that, right?
Absolutely love it.
So as a mom, take me back to those days when both your kids end up on the West Coast. That's hard, isn't it?
It was tough. Ryan was a freshman at the University of Georgia, and he said, Mom and Dad, these people don't know what they want to do. And I know what I want to do. So he made a presentation.
He did.
Yes.
Like
he made
a PowerPoint.
Yes. And then his dad and I went to another room, and we said, okay, what stipulations would we have? Okay, 1, he'd have to stay in school. 2, he'd let me pick the roommate, because we had friends that we lived in Berlin with that had a son about his age. And, so we thought, if he agreed to all this, and then my husband said, we can either really be behind him and support this, or we might risk our relationship. And I said, well, there's no way. We will. He said, Mom, I can always come home. And I said, sure you can. But anyway, that was how it all started. And
I think there's a lot of value in that, though, as a mom, even though, we tell stories that a lot of people can't relate to, the glamour and how big of a platform someone has. But we can all relate to that. I love that advice of I could either encourage and, cheer him on, or I could be against this decision, and it would risk the relationship.
Yeah. So anyway, thankfully, it really went well, and he followed the rules.
Did he finish school? I was thinking he left Georgia and didn't go back to school.
He did. He went to school in LA.
Okay.
To follow that requirement. But then he said, Mom, they don't care if I went to where I graduated.
Yeah.
But ironically, he did go back to UGA, and he gave a graduation address.
Oh, you had to be so proud.
And then they gave him a doctorate.
That's pretty awesome.
So that was full circle. And she graduated UGA.
You went to UGA as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got an honorary degree.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
that's
It's
what it
not
was.
quite what you have,
Yes,
but
it's an official
But we'll
degree,
take
but-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me about Ryan and Meredith as kids. You had 6 years in between, and I know that their childhood and the way that they grew up has a lot to do with the brand new children's book that is out that is called The Make Believers. And it's so beautiful. I love the artwork on it, too. This had to be such a fun project for you to do with your brother.
It was really fun and creative. And, it stemmed from, I have a little one who's got a crazy imagination, as well as it had Ryan and I reflecting about how we played as kids and the things that we did, using just the resources in our house. And we'd make shows and we'd create fun broadcasts and put on performances. And we were just really creative as kids. And the kids that we meet in the children's hospital, their endless creativity and what they're doing in our Seacrest studios. So we thought we'd just put together a fun story that celebrated that. And especially, I think, in today's day, even being a mother, there's just so many options for what kids can do. Whether it's toys, it's watching iPads, it's shows, it's just so many options. So this is kind of bringing things back to just using your imagination to play, and parents doing that with their children in a way to bond and connect.
Yeah. And I think because, the digital society is so prevalent, I just love that it's a book. It's a hard book, right? That like we read to our kids that you can hold and read. And again, it's so beautiful. The Make Believers, tell me some stories of what you remember about these kids with such active imaginations.
Yes, they do have that, and it's been wonderful to experience as a mom. Mm-hmm. But Meredith, in third grade, she decided she was writing a book, and it was called Spaghetti Spill Out. So she had this desire to write a book someday. So that's like living out your dream.
Yeah, a little full circle moment.
And then Ryan was Casey Kasem in his bedroom, and he did the countdown. And so look at him today. He's doing the countdown. So
I mean, these are the parts of his story that I love so much. And I identify, I think, with as a mom as well. My son Cooper, who you guys met this morning, we put a flip video camera, if you even remember those little bitty handheld, got him that as a Christmas gift when he was so young. And then now he's a film director. He works with video and all of that. And then Connor getting a guitar so young. And then now he's pursuing his dream. But it really, that role as a mother, and you think about how you had fun listening to him and probably encouraged him as pretend Casey Kasem. And then he ends up doing the top 40.
Yeah. I mean,
my goodness.
It's full circle for sure.
Yeah, it really is. Tell me about Ryan in high school. There's some great stories. Didn't he get an opportunity to do some DJing or visit radio stations?
Oh, yeah. So he would call down to Star 94 and talk to the DJ there and get some information. And then he created the announcements at the high school. And all of a sudden, the principal said, no one ever listened to the announcements until Ryan became the voice.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that's a wonderful story. And the principal's still a really big fan of his.
That's adorable. And then there's a story on the school bus about the bus driver let him be the DJ?
Charlie the bus driver. The kids didn't want to get off the bus. They were having so much fun listening to the music.
So was he making his own mixtapes and they were playing them
on the bus?
That's just amazing.
So he had this dream, and then he would set up, some days he would set up a newscast, and he'd set it up and he'd be the news reporter. So
oh my goodness.
It just, you never knew which Ryan you were going to see that day.
But it all was related around broadcasting, which is really what every part of his career has included, whether he had his own radio show or was on and live with Kelly and Ryan for several years. I mean, my goodness, every door that's opened, I'm sure you guys have just been like, okay, wow, what's next, right?
Yeah. Okay. And he has a crazy schedule.
I was about to say, okay, as a mom, let's talk about the schedule because, it seems like to us, he didn't say no to anything. And I'm sure he does because so many
he doesn't. No, that's another problem.
But how in the world do you balance American Idol, now Wheel of Fortune, doing the top 40? We'll see him on Dick Clark's New Year's Eve. I mean, my gracious.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah. And his daily radio.
Yeah. And there have been, you guys had a health scare at one point where you're like, okay, we're going to have to slow down here. What was that like for you guys? I'm sure that was scary.
Oh, it is. Anytime you see your child, you know that, and not in a normal situation, and it's scary. And fortunately, he was able to overcome that and move on, right?
Yeah, but I think, scheduling is still, when he thinks he's maybe... For a beat, he didn't have Wheel of Fortune, and it slowed down a little, and then he got that, and then it went, crazy again. But Yeah, I mean, he's really good at being very efficient with time. It's made him, and he makes it a priority to still take care of his health and work out, and he books it like a meeting. And, but yes, it's definitely a hectic schedule.
Since you guys work together, do you have a shared calendar? I would love to know what Ryan Seacrest's calendar looks like.
You know what's funny? He was kind of archaic for a while, where he didn't have it all organized in his phone. Now he does. But we do not share a calendar, but we do share, I guess I'm one of the people though that can call him and get him instantly, make a decision fast, which not everyone can do that.
You're on the favorites on the iPhone. Your call goes through.
Yeah, your call goes through. Whereas because he has to talk all day, sometimes talking more isn't as fun. So I definitely can get through, which is great.
Yeah. Barefaced has a brand new product I can't wait to share with you. I've been keeping it in my bag and using it on the go ever since I tried it. Clean Slate Spritz is a mineral-infused hypochlorous mist that works to cleanse, calm, and refresh your skin throughout the day. This is the perfect quick reset after a workout, post-makeup application, or anytime your skin just needs a little pick-me-up. This multitasking mist is great for breakout-prone skin and to calm irritation and support your skin's barrier, making it great for you and your teenagers. You can toss it in their gym bag for right after those practices or games, or keep it on hand for cleansing on the go and redness reduction. Right now, you can try Clean Slate Spritz with 15% off your first Barefaced order when you use the code MOMMA15, that's MOMMA 15, at barefaced.com. Your skin deserves a clean slate. I've heard you talk about how much Ryan values family time and the dinners like that he grew up having every week, or the family vacations, or tell me a little bit about that. And I'd love to know your perspective of how did you cultivate these really tight family bonds?
I think it all begins back when they're young and you have these family dinners, and each day they would talk about their experiences, and then, they just grew up. And, we're very fortunate with his schedule because he does have a lot of family time and makes time for us to visit him in wonderful places.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the advantages of having kids who are doing great things, is you're getting to kind of be along on the journey. And then, like you said, maybe even some vacations that are in cool places. Or when you go to visit him, there's somewhere there. Have you been on the set of American Idol?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for years we were there every single finale.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah. It was one time I even had to walk out there and say what he says.
You got to go out and deliver the lines.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun meeting all the different judges, and
yeah,
they're great.
Yeah. Do you watch it every week? Like it's appointment viewing for you?
Oh, Wheel of Fortune. Whatever he does, it's appointment for me. My time switched from morning with live with Kelly. I don't have that time.
So you used to get to see your son every morning.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And now I see him every evening on Wheel of Fortune.
So I guess there was a time when you could literally listen to him in the morning.
I can listen to him on the radio. Like, I walk a lot in my neighborhood, and I'll just have him on in L.A., but then if I'm in my car, I can have him on the station in Atlanta.
So there's a time where you could listen to him on the radio, turn on and see him on TV in the morning, tune into American Idol in the evening.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost like you weren't missing him at all.
But I have to tell you, sometimes he gets in the doghouse because he'll tell on the radio some story about me or something, and then I'll text him and say, "You're in the doghouse."
So that's probably why you have to listen, right?
Yes. Or when he'll FaceTime you and you're in your robe with no makeup, and he'll call her live from the talk show. Remember that?
Oh,
Tell me that story. That's so funny. What were you doing when he FaceTimed you live?
I was probably having coffee, about to watch him on TV, and
and he calls. The worst was me, though. He called me when I was in the delivery room on live television about to deliver my baby.
Was he on with Kelly?
Yes, and they FaceTime, and Jimmy, my husband, answered it, and I was like, "What?" and handed me the phone, and I'm in the bed. And I looked terrible. I mean, it was so embarrassing.
You're probably like puffy from the drip or whatever it may be.
I mean, I was about to deliver and I was fully dilated and it was nuts. So the things he does to us.
The things he does. Yeah. We just never know.
I know. Kelly was like, are you for real? That's your sister? And you just called her?
I'm sure Kelly could put herself in those shoes like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, I can't believe you just did that.
Take me back to one of the times, because there's been so much good news for your family to celebrate of something that, the kids have done. But take me to a time where either you got the phone call that he landed American Idol, or, maybe most recently that he really was going to replace Pat Sajak on one of the most iconic game shows ever. I would just love to know kind of the backstory on what that's like and how he tells you the good news all the time. Either one of you.
Well, I remember when they were considering him for American Idol. At that time, Merv Griffin was a mentor for him. And, he gave him some good advice.
The biggest names in broadcasting, to think that he has mixed, mingled, had mentors.
Dick Clark.
Met Dick Clark. Did he get to meet Casey Kasem? I wonder if he
probably
ever did.
Honestly,
probably.
Yeah.
Merv Griffin.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat Sajak when he was going to replace him. Like some of the biggest names that he had to have just looked up to as a kid, right?
Absolutely. It's another way of dream. Whatever you dream, go for it. Just go for it.
I know. And we talked about, even when writing the book, in a way he was manifesting and pretending to be these people that he did look up to, and it truly became real. And that's just, even when you never know what you could do as a child that could transform into what you grow up to be and do.
Yeah. As he became more well-known, your name is a little unusual. I don't know other Seacrest. Could you be out and somebody like, are you related to Ryan Seacrest? Have you dealt with some of that as the little sister?
Definitely dealt with that. And I think it was just kind of odd at the beginning because he was in the heyday of Idol, and every time you said your last name, it was, oh my gosh, and I'm dealt with it for longer now, but it was that weird moment of, you'd be with your brother in the mall and everyone knew who he was now. And that is just interesting. I mean, we all went through that.
Yeah.
Like, this is just my brother. What?
Yeah.
How,
You're
what's
like,
your
it's
autograph?
just Ryan.
Yeah. But now I think we're, we get it.
But when they see your name, they'd say something like, oh, are you related to Ryan Seacrest? And I said, yeah, I'm his mother. No way! And then they get so excited, and it's just...
Yeah, it's fun though, right? I mean, you appear to have the personality that you've probably really enjoyed that. And
well,
you're just so proud of him.
And that's exactly right, yeah. So we can handle that.
Yeah. I love that Meredith and Ryan have such a close sibling bond, even with 6 years age difference. What do you credit that to? I know they're family dinners and everything, but was that probably important to you as a mom that they did have this really sweet relationship?
Absolutely. We just encouraged it from day one. And, he would get her into trouble and all that good stuff, but you survived.
I survived. Yeah, he would do this thing where I couldn't sleep, so I'd go in his room and he'd tell a story how he was the king and I was, I worked for him and I'd have to go get him water and I'd go down to get water. And
then she'd get in the doghouse.
I get in trouble for coming down. I was little. But then I'd go back and then he'd be asleep. And he said, when you get back, you can tell the story. And then he'd fall asleep and I'd be like, Ryan.
Hey, Tucker.
But
Tucker, the podcast dog.
Or he had this whole thing, if he could make me laugh, I couldn't tell on him. And so he would always do certain things, and if I laugh, and he could make me laugh, he would say, you can't tell Mom you laughed. Or if I said owl, he'd say, where's the owl? Where's the owl? And then I'd laugh and say, I'm saying owl, not owl. And so he just kind of messed with me all the time. It was funny.
Yeah, that's fun. Would you describe either of your kids as having gone through that typical, like, mischievous teenage stage? Like, did Ryan ever sneak out of the house, or did they, is there any good story there or something that you can remember?
I don't know if I can tell it. I'm a big fan of young people being involved in sports, and he was involved with the football team, and he had a group called the Posse.
This is at Dunwoody High School, right?
Yes, okay. Dunwoody High School. Go Wildcats. And he had this group called the Posse. And to this day, they're really good friends. And once in a while, they'll have a group get together and meet somewhere. But it was so easy because we knew all the parents. You know, we were at the football games. We knew all the parents. All the parents had the same rules.
Ah, that's smart.
They had the same rules, the same curfew. So that was real easy. It was a little bit harder when Meredith went to a private school. And then it's a different set of parents, and you really have to do your homework.
Well, and they don't all live in the same we dealt with that too. They don't all live in the same neighborhood, like the kids that are zoned to go to Dunwoody High School, right? So you had to kind of get to know the family. But what I'm picking up was Meredith, the more mischievous one.
I did sneak out
Sure,
once.
sure does look
But
sweet.
I know.
You say it. I'm not
know.
telling.
I did, but I never did it again. So I got, you know, it was one of those. But went with a group of friends. I was
weren't by yourself.
Yeah, it was one of those where you were with the group and you went and you didn't really want to, but
you gotta have
did.
that story, right?
And then you're annoyed because you got grounded and you did it, but I never did it again.
But and there are consequences.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you misbehave like that, you're grounded.
Yeah. It sounds like you had a good balance of nurturing your kids, of encouraging them, of setting boundaries for them. Some of the goals that I think we all have as moms.
Well, there's definitely no training for moms.
Isn't that the truth?
And so you just have to do, you know, what comes natural to you.
We're all winging it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And my husband, being an attorney, worked long hours, and so at one point very early on, he said, you need to be stay-at-home mom. And so I was available to go to all their activities and be involved in the PTA, and it meant a lot to me, and I think it works.
Yeah.
Now you get a turn.
Yeah, really. That's right. What's it been like to see Meredith become a mom?
Oh, I love it. I love it. She adores Flora, and we adore Flora, and it's so rewarding. I never knew what it was like to be a grandparent, and boy, it's over the top. I love it.
Everybody says it's even better.
Oh, it is. It is.
Okay, where are my pet lovers out there? You know I love to share about Coat Defense. The owners of this company saw a need for safe, effective products to keep your pet's coats clean and healthy. So they created an entire line that we love and use on Tucker. The Daily Preventative Powder acts as a dry shampoo that actually repels dirt and eliminates odor. It has been a game changer. When we switched to their sulfate-free, aloe-based sensitive skin shampoo, we noticed a lot less itching, and Tucker now has the softest coat ever. If your dog gets those hot spots, nothing works faster than their Trouble Spot drying paste. You can try any of the Coat Defense products for 15% off when you use the code MOMMA15, MOMMA 15 at coatdefense.com. Tell me about how you met your husband.
So I was working in Atlanta, and we both grew up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, you did.
And then he went to Fort Benning for officers training school. And then a mutual friend said, well, Connie's in Atlanta. You should look her up. And so the next thing you know, he's contacting me. And I said, wait a minute, you know. And he invited me down to Fort Benning to this officers event. And I said, I don't know, man. I'm a bridal consultant.
Oh, is that what your job was?
Yeah, I was an assistant buyer in bridal, and back in the day, I was the person who did the rehearsal and orchestrated the wedding. And
oh wow!
If you brought your dress, your bridal dress, and your bridesmaid dresses from, it's Macy's now, but it was Davison's back then I would be the one to come out and be your
I don't
consultant.
think they do that anymore.
No, they don't.
You pay full service.
Yeah.
Now you pay tons of money for that.
That was probably handy when you were planning your wedding. Your mom was very involved.
Oh yeah, but anyway, so that's how it happened, and then all of a sudden he's gonna get an assignment, and we were like, should we do this? I don't know. What do you think? Oh well, why not? So we got married in February, and then he was sent to Berlin. And so then I couldn't go until he had housing for me. Mm-hmm. And then he got the housing. So then I went, and we had a wonderful beginning of a marriage because we could travel to all different places. And
but you didn't have the babies till you came back.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So you were
and
back
then he went to law school after that, and then Ryan was born, and then we never knew we'd be so fortunate to have my angel. It's all been good, and I feel very, very blessed that they have this strong relationship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm an only child, and the older I got, I said, I don't mind being an only child. I can pick my friends. But I see people that don't get necessarily a good relationship with relatives.
Right.
And I said, this is okay. I can pick my friends.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it for sure. Meredith, does Ryan use you kind of does he consult with you at all? I mean, I know he has such a world of, agents and managers and people on the business side, but as a close sister-brother bond, will he call you and say, hey, I may have a chance to do Wheel of Fortune. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we definitely chat in a way that, maybe he wouldn't chat with everyone. There's trust there. So he knows, we always say secret Seacrest, we won't tell anyone. So I think that's something that's nice for him, that he knows he can have those private conversations and it's trusted to stay within the family. And too, I think I give him more. It may not always be about the career, but more the personal advice or things like that.
He counts on her a lot.
Look out for him. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Have either of you said, Ryan, you do not need another job?
Many times. You see how that goes.
Yes.
Yes, he's going to pack it all in. That's for sure.
But he really seems to like it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, yeah. And he's just so good at it. I mean, he's got a natural born skill and talent that it seems he knew that he had at a very young age, But to figure out how to go chase it, that's part of the equation, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's what he tries to tell people. Go for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Follow your dreams.
Yeah, and I think he talks a lot. It's not necessarily just luck. You're so lucky. Mm-hmm. I mean, he said, I put in the effort. I showed up early. He's really kind at anyone on a set. He talks to everybody. He thanks, from the lighting guy to who's in post-production and who's the executive producer. It doesn't matter where you sit within the production. He gets it. It wouldn't happen without everyone. So, I think that's part of it. His work ethic helped land him where he is today beyond his talent.
Yeah, for sure. And just being a good person. I think, like you said, the way he treats people, you don't advance, in particular, probably in the entertainment industry and all of that with so many talented people out there, but without being a good person and good to the people around you. And so I'm sure that probably more than anything, that would make you proud of how he treats other people.
Oh, I'm proud, over the moon, both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I just couldn't be a more elated, happy mom.
Oh, that's such a blessing. Tell me about Ryan as an uncle.
Oh,
is he the funkle?
Yeah,
the funkle. Yes,
you heard that.
Yes, he loves having fun with Flora, playing all the fun stuff. But if she starts to get whiny or cry, back, he'd be like, "Here you go, Meredith. Back to you." But no, it's very sweet. They have a fun relationship, and I think she's starting to realize and get it that he's on television. So it's, with Wheel of Fortune, or this was such a funny story. We were on a plane, and I think the planes have programming.
Oh, like the little screen?
Yeah, and so she was trying to pick a show from what they had on the American Airlines app, and they had a Disney sing-along, so she knew Disney, and she hit that. And Ryan, it was recorded, but Ryan was hosting it, and she screamed on the plane, "It's Ryan Seacrest!" And we'd just been with him, and then she couldn't grasp how he was in the plane on the TV because she was younger at the time. So now it's finally she's understanding, how they tape things. And we recently took her to American Idol when they were in town, and she got to see how it's taped and got to see the judges and the process. So it's starting to make sense to her.
Oh my goodness.
He gets in the screen.
That's so fun. That's so fun. I want to go back to talk some more about these media centers. And again, we talked about state of the art. They're so awesome. And then what you do. But so when you came over, Meredith, to help with the foundation and the centers, how many were there when you joined on?
We just opened the first one.
The first one had just opened. Was the plan all along that this would grow and be in as many places as possible, or did it end up being so successful that you're like, we have to replicate this?
Yes, we were fortunate to get connected to Children's Hospital Philadelphia, and that was due to Ryan being on network at the time.
Okay.
And they had their headquarters was in Philadelphia. And so we got connected through one of his bosses at the time, and they loved the concept and said, let's build one of these in Philadelphia.
So that was number 2?
That was number 2. And we brought in Selena Gomez to help launch that and surprise the patients. And then she was from Dallas and said, oh, let's build one at the Dallas Children's Hospital. And we said, okay. And next thing you know, we built that. And then all of a sudden, because we got on the map a little, the word started to get out, and we were getting hospitals reaching out. So we realized we had to create an application process and start to make this a formal, really a real deal.
This job turned into be way bigger than what you thought, right?
Way bigger. So, we always say it's beyond our dreams. It's now we have 14 studios across the country, and we're launching and working on 2 more. And we have Nicole and my team, and we just had 2 calls this week of more hospitals that want them.
That want to do it. Wow.
We're assessing that. So it's definitely continues to grow, and we just always want to maintain them, sustain them, support them. So we're very
not going too big too fast, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
How often does Ryan get to pop in or get to be a part of the good that he's helping to do?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot. In the sense with our grand openings, he's at every one of those with the ribbon cutting. We bring special guests in. And then when he's traveling through various cities, he makes a point to stop in and surprise the kiddos. And so, again, anytime he can get there, he does get there.
Yeah, that's really special. And I just love that that's become, what I can imagine how fulfilling it is. You get to see the product of the kids so happy. And then what is your role now, Mom?
Well, I'm community relations.
I love that title. Yeah.
So I keep in touch with everybody and keep everybody's spirit going. And my husband and I visit the studios also. We take turns, visiting each one and giving them a little love.
Yeah.
And it's very rewarding. Yeah. And especially when my husband retired, I was like, oh, what am I going to do with him? Well, he has busy times with the foundation, and he helps a lot with them.
Yeah. So you see more growth in the future, more hospitals that will get to have a studio, you hope?
It's definitely growing. And then also because it's media and technology, we've had to go back and update and enhance the old ones. So it's a continuous, we have an engineer that's 24/7 that's helping with equipment and when things aren't working and all the things. So it's
how big is your team or your staff now when you look at all the facilities? How many people do you guys employ?
Not big enough. No.
Really? I'm sure
they'd tell you that. No. But yes, we're just it's about 5 of us now, and we are continuing to grow some just because the bandwidth.
I thought you were going to definitely say double-digit numbers, but 5 of you that are running. Wow, that's amazing.
Well,
yeah. Besides family, probably, right? We're talking about like people who come in, and and you have to think about the tech part, and like you said, it's media, it's technology.
That's a big part of it now, especially when you have this many, and everything changes, and you have to update.
Right. So at the end of the day, though, I love going back to the original story of, Ryan wanted to do this, and obviously he was so successful, wanted to use it to help other people. But what an awesome way to make it tangible, to get to see the result of something good that's being done, as opposed to just writing a check and someone saying, your money did this, Yeah,
so. It's very meaningful to the patients and the parents.
Yeah, for sure.
The parents are really thrilled.
Yeah. Meredith, what would you say, what are some of the character traits that you as a mom to Flora now have that you got from your mom?
I think just, being supportive, and I write little notes. My mom always wrote little notes in my lunch, and even if she can't fully read, I still write little notes to her. I always loved the little sticky notes or things you'd stick in. I think I as well try to get to know, keeping up with who she's surrounding herself by. Like my mom said, knowing the parents and I'm not just sending her to play dates and I don't know the mom well or the parents. And that is something that I've kind of taken note as we go into this future, and it's a different world than it used to be. And that I just know who she's surrounded by, and it's like-minded people, and we share similar values, and that's surrounding her. So kind of taking that note. And
It's a big job, isn't it?
It is a big job.
I think that's some of the best
Yes.
advice you can give moms, though, really to know, like, to be involved, you know?
Right. And I make a point, even with my team and working, that I block it on my calendar and go through, Flora's got her pageant this day and this and that, and that it's blocked, and I'm going to show up for all the things for my daughter, and if I need to leave early or I want to pick her up certain days of the week. And so I try to mix being a working mother but still being present for Flora in a meaningful way.
And you do a good balancing act. You do. She really does.
Yeah, that's good. That's where that calendar comes in, right?
Yes.
Blocking off that time. What do you see in Ryan that's like his mom, personality-wise? What would you think he got? And, of course, you can contribute to that question as well, Connie.
You go first.
I mean, I think you both have that kind of bubbly, fun personality, and like talking with people, and approachable and friendly and fun. And I don't know. I think.
Who knows? I mean, he
I
has
wonder how Ryan would answer that question, right?
Yeah, we'll call him right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan. Because sometimes
Is that an option? Because that'd be really fun to ask him what he got from his mama.
Yeah, well, let's see. Where is he today?
Yeah, you have to think about that,
He's
right?
on the set of Wheel of Fortune
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
doing
He
Wheel of
is?
Fortune right now.
Oh, my goodness. So he's a little busy.
A little bit. But he would definitely have a few things to say.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I think that I see that just in this little bit of time I've gotten to spend with you is her friendliness, approachability, all the things, that contribute to Ryan's success. I can definitely see from you, that's for sure. And my other, I would say, takeaway from this and getting to meet you is that it sounds like you have been chief cheerleader.
I was a cheerleader in high
you
school, and
were.
I'm still...
You went from high school cheerleader, cheering on and encouraging your kids' dreams, but even your role in the foundation of keeping people positive, encouraging them along the way.
I love it.
It's a pretty good job for you.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Chief cheerleader.
Chief cheerleader. That's my new title.
I love it. Let's just change it. It's so nice to meet you both.
Oh,
thank you for sharing this time. We want to make sure everybody knows they can get this new, beautiful book, The Make Believers. And the whole thing is really about encouraging dreams. And if you see that little thing in your kid when they're pretending to be something, encourage it. Like, why couldn't he be the next Casey Kasem, right? Yeah.
But let me tell you, I had no clue. I mean, people say, did you ever? No. I mean, he was just a regular kid, I thought.
Yeah.
But little did I know.
He had a little extra in him.
Something like that.
And so does Meredith.
Oh,
Thank
she
you
does
so
too.
much.
I mean, the two of them, I couldn't be a happier mom.
Yeah. I mean, they're a powerful duo when you think about all the good they're doing.
And they keep doing it. And
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now that we've shared dozens of episodes, surely we're friends, right? Well, I have a favor to ask. Would you take a minute to leave a 5-star rating and a review on whatever app you're using to listen to the podcast? This helps so much with reaching a wider audience. We'd also love for you to subscribe to our Insider newsletter and, of course, follow us on social media and on YouTube at Got It From My Momma. That's right, you can watch any of these episodes on YouTube. Visit our website, gotitfrommymamma.tv, and you can get links to all of these things. I'm so thankful you're along for the journey. Okay, where are my pet lovers out there? You know I love to share about Coat Defense. The owners of this company saw a need for safe, effective products to keep your pet's coats clean and healthy. So they created an entire line that we love and use on Tucker. The Daily Preventative Powder acts as a dry shampoo that actually repels dirt and eliminates odor. It has been a game changer. When we switched to their sulfate-free, aloe-based sensitive skin shampoo, we noticed a lot less itching, and Tucker now has the softest coat ever. If your dog gets those hot spots, nothing works faster than their Trouble Spot drying paste. You can try any of the Coat Defense products for 15% off when you use the code MOMMA15, MOMMA15 at coatdefense.com.